Hey everyone, welcome back to Tracks and Tires. Today I'm here out at Leishman's property. I'm looking at this, I think it's some kind of International 1500 that is a dump truck. Two-wheel drive, dualies on the back, and I think the engine's a 345, might be one of the smaller V8s, I'm not sure. But yeah, he said that if I can get it running, I can have it, which might be a cool project. Not really sure if I want it, but we'll try and get it running. It's been sitting for literally ever, like honestly, probably like forever. Yeah, they stopped using it because I guess like, I don't know, probably just the fact that it's so old, but they stopped using it, and then someone added like motor oil to the master cylinder, and it ended up swelling up all the brake cups and stuff, I guess. So it has no brakes, I'm not sure. Looks like someone removed the master cylinder. Maybe they were looking to repair it or something. I might have to ask them about that. But yeah, it's a complete truck, a manual transmission. I think it's a 4-speed. And yeah, it's all there, complete. So yeah, we'll see what we can do and try and do a little get running video on this truck. This thing's super cool how it has that international sticker on it. Considering that this is a Northern Ontario truck, it's not like super rusted. I think I've seen worse trucks from the 90s. Pretty solid. Got a little bit of a hokey paint job on it at one point in time. I found some fiberglass patches and such. But yeah, it's all complete. It's all there. Little dump box on the back here. It's kind of nice. Little tailgate and everything. The bed itself isn't terrible. It's must have came off a different truck at one point in time. It doesn't have a bunch of holes or rust in it. The frame is still really black, like it got painted a while ago, so that's nice. Oh yeah, she's got the 4-ply, baby. I'm not even sure if you're allowed to have rims like this anymore on the road or not. I guess this is the fuel tank. It's like a little barrel thing. So first things first, I'm gonna look into this fuel system. It looks like the fuel pump's down there, and it actually has a rubber line hooked up to it that probably goes back to the tank, I guess. And then it comes up here and goes into the carburetor. So I'll be adding some fuel to the tank probably if it's not, if there's nothing in it. But if there is stuff in it, I'll probably drain it out and then fill it up. Remove this oil bath intake, and then yeah, we'll go from there, and then hopefully try and see if it can pump some fuel. I got another battery that I'm gonna put in here. This one is ancient, definitely doesn't work. And surprisingly, the key is still in the ignition, which is really nice. You don't have to modify any of that. So I'll just loosen these. They're tight. I brought the crescent wrench. And I got a decent little battery here, so yeah, I'll swap that out right now. Okay, hopefully this thing doesn't catch fire now that I have the battery hooked up. There's one green light on the dash. I think it's the blinker indicator. It's just always on until you move the switch onto that side. It's kind of weird, but lights. I don't know, nothing seemed to happen when, oh, actually the lights are on. It's hard to see, but the lights are actually on for the gauges right now. That's pretty cool. And then I'll make sure it's in neutral. And oh my gosh. I don't even know where that switch is. Here it is. Okay, those work. Okay, it does turn over. That's pretty cool, I'd say. I'll turn off the lights here and yeah, try and get some fuel up to that carburetor and then check for spark. That's funny. The headlights even work. Okay, I'm going to use 2 hands here to lift this off, and then I'll be able to see the carburetor. Okay, it appears to have like a Holley carburetor, I think. I can't really read the word. Yeah, so it's got a Holley 2-barrel carburetor on the top. Looks relatively clean. The filter was good on it and had a bit of oil, so hopefully nothing got inside of it. Right on. So I'm going to pull this fuel line off right here. So when I go to crank it over, it doesn't start putting that bad gas inside the fuel bowl. So I'll pull this off and put it in this little cup that I found. And then I'll try and turn it over and see if we can get some fuel pumping. So I've got the fuel line taken off here, put inside my little cup. And since it's been sitting for so long, I'm going to pull all the spark plugs out. And try not to mix up the spark plug wires, but it's nice, it has a holder. Pull them all out, put a little bit of ATF and stuff in each cylinder to hopefully free it up a little bit. It does crank, but it's a little bit slow. It's probably tightened up from sitting for so long. So yeah, a little bit of ATF in the cylinders, let it sit. Then with all the spark plugs out, it will crank over easier, and I can check each cylinder to make sure it's getting spark. Okay, that's all 4 spark plugs from this side of the engine. They all look like they're in decent condition. I might wire wheel them, but other than that, they look good. So here I am at the fuel tank, and I banged on the side of it. It sounds like it's about halfway full. I can't get the lid off by hand right now. It feels like it's probably just rusted in place. It's pretty tight. But I loosened this fitting down here, and it's the most disgusting fuel I think I've ever seen in my life. It's like black, and it stinks. So I'm just going to tighten that fitting back up. So I was just turning it over here, and it's still cranking over super slow, even with all these spark plugs out and lubed up. And I noticed the fan hub doesn't seem to be spinning, so I cranked it over and watched, and sure enough, the fan hub is seized. So it does move a tiny little bit, but it won't spin. It just kind of bounces back and forth. It must be on a tight spot. I'm going to try and get some penetrating lubricant in the back of it, and then let it sit for just a little while, and then break it free and get it spinning, because the belt tension's pretty tight, so I think that's why the engine's turning over slowly still. So yeah.
No, I wouldn't let anybody. I wouldn't give anything to anybody.
So how long has it been sitting here?
Oh, fucking. I would say 2002.
Oh yeah.
2001. When I say it was last run in 2003, because I started at the mill in 2004, and I had I just had a service pole at the shop, but I didn't vacate that garage until after I got done at I can't remember.
Yeah, so you'd say 2001, 2002?
Yeah, somewhere.
Yeah. So around 20 years.
Well, I would say that, yeah.
My phone died, so I didn't get a good video of it, but I drained the fuel tank. I took it right off. Drained it out into a good pail. Took off this bottom spout here and the top one. I used the garden hose and I cleaned it out. It was full to about here with like some scaly rust type stuff. I washed all that out, cleaned it out with some new gas, and then I hooked it all back up. I put an inline filter down here, and then I took apart the glass filter and cleaned it all out. So yeah, new inline filter, I cleaned the glass filter, and then I filled the tank with some fresh gas, pumped it, cranked over the engine and let it pump into my little can that I had up here, And then I checked it and I kept doing it and dumping out the can until it was clean. So now I got clean fuel running up to the carburetor. I went and wire wheeled all my spark plugs to clean them up. And right now I put a number 1 cylinder, I put a spark plug on it to try and check it. But when I'm cranking it over, I can't get any spark. So now I'm just going to try and figure out why I don't have spark. So here's my points down in here. They appear to be a little bit open, but it doesn't look like that hump is all the way at the lowest cam spot right now. So I'm going to try and turn it over a little bit and see if they'll close all the way. And then I'll try and get them on the tallest part of that cam lobe so they're opened up all the way, and I'll check the gap, get some emery cloth and clean them. And then the second thing is you have to check right here at the coil coming in. You have to make sure that with the key on, you have 12 volts here, and then you'll have 12 volts here. And with the key off, if these points are closed, if you check resistance, when the points are closed, if you check resistance from right here to anywhere under here, like the metal, and the points are closed, if you have good continuity, then you know that your points are making contact. So yeah, I'm just going to do that right now and try and see if I can get some spark. So all I did was lightly clean the points. I adjusted them a little bit tighter to I'd say around 10 to 11 thou. They were pretty open. They were probably at like 20 thou. So after I cleaned them, checked that I was getting a good ground when they were closed, and when they were open I wasn't getting any ground. I put it all back together. I cleaned the cap a little bit. And then I hopped in the cab here and cranked it over, and I got good spark. So yeah, really happy about that. So I'm just taking a little video here and I'll show you the spark that I got. So right on, I'm really happy that I got the spark now, and motor's cranking over decently. I'm gonna throw all the spark plugs back in and then hook up the spark plug wires and maybe even try and start it. So cranking it over, trying to get fuel up to the carburetor, I noticed if I let it sit, it wouldn't pump the fuel anymore. I think that it was starting to suck air because I had a small fuel leak on this rubber hose down here. So I put 2 new hoses and then this filter in place. So yeah, now it won't be leaking. I cranked it over and now I got good fuel to the carburetor. Right on. So now that I've got fuel, spark, compression, air, everything, I'm just going to try and start it up. Hopefully it goes. I don't see why not. I've been cranking it over quite a bit, so all that oil should have moved its way around in there and lubricated everything. So yeah, I'm going to try and fire it up right now. Well, right on. Look at that, eh? It doesn't like to idle right now. I can rev it up and down, but it wants a little bit of choke. Maybe the primary jets are dirty in the carburetor. But yeah, it does. It starts up and runs good. Right on. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. Stay tuned for more fun projects and everything. I'm really happy that I got it running, and it ran pretty well. So right on. Thanks for watching.